welcome everyone to Mystics Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons here. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And Washington's they're on the West Coast, which means late start times and late end times on for us that are still on the East Coast. All right, Ray. The Mystics survive in Seattle. The first of two games. They play Seattle again on Sunday. Tonight they beat the Storm 73-66. Big night for Shakira Austin. She's been we've mentioned several times one of the team's most consistent players. 15 and 11 tonight. I think she's had a double double in all but one game this season thus far. 15 and 11 along with two blocks. Yeah, Brittany Sykes score her have her high as a new member of the Washington Mystics with 18 points tonight, and overcome Ezzy McBagor and some talented rookies, Seattle, for the win. Your thoughts on this one?
Um, yeah, survive is the right word. And we shouldn't be speaking that language, but here we are. Yeah, just the theme of the Mystics this season has been inconsistency, and you saw it in this game. They will have something going and just forget how to play for a few possessions. But
We'll have Ray back in just a second. I know at least for me tonight, one of the toughest things was just watching Washington's offense. They were just really, really, truly going through it. Um, with trying to get into their sets and executing. And we know they had a good offensive outing. What's it called in the season opener against New York, but a lot of it came from their defense. And then we haven't seen it consistently hit that level on defensive since. Um, and this one, defense was okay, but for the most part, it was what they did on the glass. It was big tonight. We mentioned Shakira's 11 boards. Deladon has 7. Sykes had 4. You had 5 from Aisha, 4 from Tiana. Uh, they ended up beating Seattle on the glass 41-30, but where they really did their damage was 13-2 on the offensive glass. So for a team that's struggling offensively, right? Um, you need those second chance points. You need those opportunities. And Washington was at times. They had a double digit lead twice in this game. I think once they had it up to 14 before we saw Seattle respond with a similar run. Then the second half, you start the second half decently, get the lead back up to 12, and again Seattle responded. As for Seattle, I was impressed by their rookies. Their youngsters really came out and made an impact on the defensive end. We could talk about Jordan Horston, Melbourne, Dojic. I hope I don't pronounce her name wrong, but all of them again. You look at a box score, you're not going to see how many deflected passes they had, how they were in passing lanes. Just at times, it's really good one-on-one defense. I can think of a time where Horston was one-on-one with EDD and ended up forcing a travel. They did a good job. They honestly did a great job. Again, they're playing without Jewel Lloyd. So on the face, you would think you're playing Seattle. They had one win coming into this game, which was, I believe, in their last game, which they rallied from 21 down to get the victory, and that was with Jewel Lloyd on the court. No Jewel Lloyd tonight. I don't think she'll be available to them again come Sunday. Could be wrong. We'll see. But just a hell of a job by them to be this competitive in this game. And then for Washington, there's no style points when you talk about victories. However, again, I think the biggest thing for me was just they got to execute better offensively. They have to find a way to execute better offensively and give Seattle credit. Some of that was their defense, but sometimes they were just disjointed a lot where it seemed like people are a little bit late setting screens, or when they go to set a screen, maybe they're not actually clipping a body. And, that goes away into what happens when you're trying to run sets. But they got the dub, and that's what a week from now, all we're going to remember is that they were two. This is a road win. But again, Ray, you're back. Your thoughts on tonight?
yeah, man, I think you hit it on the head, man. It just looks sloppy at times, and given what they have on the roster, that shouldn't be the case. Yeah, Lena, she did her thing, but like I say all the time, it can't just be up to her.
Yeah, nah, and that was one of the things you and I were talking about during playback. Honestly, was just at times we've seen several teams this year come out and go, "You're not going to be the one to beat us with hardcore double teams to get the ball out of her hand," and teammates just have to do a better job of making teams pay for it. We've seen Shakira's done a great job with it, handling that at this season when Elena gets in trouble, making herself available. And Washington's getting a little bit better playing through those times. But if this is going to be mostly everyone's strategy, considering they've been struggling to shoot from outside, they're gonna have to get better at it. Honestly, provide better answers to those situations. But again, a win is a win. I know we'll get the player of the game and then X Factor before we get out of here. But you're on the road. You needed a win. You came off a very bad loss. Uh, it is what it is. Again, they had a chance in that second quarter. They had a really good chance in this second quarter, just to come in and put this put this game away in the first 6 minutes of the third. They were unable to do so, and give credit to Seattle for that. But for Washington, it's a win. Player of the game, I'm going Shakira also here. Just being consistent. I know Brittany Sykes had the 18, but Shakira's consistency, those post players, their consistency. I know Lena, you see 11 points on 12 attempts, but she's getting double. Teams are focusing on taking her out of it. Shakira had 3 of those 13 offensive rebounds. Elena had 3 of those. Tiana Hawkins had 3. Again, at least for me, X Factor, I thought Tiana Hawkins was huge. 9 points, 4 rebounds. 3 of those 4 rebounds were on the offensive glass, and a couple of those came in the second half when Washington was starving for a bucket in the midst of Seattle runs. So credit Washington for getting out of this game with the W. We'll see how they respond come Sunday, but all in all, again, I know I've said this several times tonight. A win's a win. They're 4-3. After this game, you get an opportunity to go to 5-3 on Sunday. Obviously, from an aesthetic standpoint, you would love for it to look better, but what are we? 7 games into the year. They're gonna have to continue to get better. You have Maisha come back tonight, and I wanted to give a honorable mention to Lee Mung tonight. I thought she did a great job tonight, coming in only had 5 points. She had 3 rebounds, one of which was on the offensive glass. I thought she does a great job. She's very decisive, and that's some of the things. That's one of the things where we've seen Washington guards struggle at times with just being decisive. She's been extremely decisive. Catch and shoot opportunity, the ball hits her hands, is either going up or the ball's getting swung. There's little to no indecision at all from her this season. It was good to see Maisha back. I know she took a spill in practice this week, so she got 11 minutes. You guys know her debut was against Minnesota a week ago. So I wouldn't read too much into for her next few games. It's about her getting her feet wet. Clearly, not feet wet, but feet underneath her. Not yet, but 5 boards tonight contributed to the edge they had on the glass. So we'll see how things go Sunday in Seattle. I believe that game starts at 3. Should have Cardell and Ray on playback, and then they'll have Mystics Outlook. So we'll see you guys then. Y'all have a great evening.